Good afternoon. This is a flood update for 1:30 p.m. Sunday, June 23rd. City of Medicine Hat is still in a state of local emergency and will continue to do so until such time as we deem it safe to do so. Cypress County, Redcliffe, City of Medicine Hat, Province of Alberta, Canadian Armed Forces are working collaboratively and diligently to protect residents' health and safety as well as critical infrastructure. The public should plan for the Trans-Canada Highway Bridge to be closed at 7 p.m. this evening. This will result in no public access between the northern and southern sections of the city. Residents must stay away from the Trans-Canada Highway Bridge unless absolutely necessary. Emergency vehicles and crews need access to the bridge to ensure the safety of all. Police services are presently monitoring the bridge. Please understand, we need your assistance in this matter. The traffic is backing up on the Trans-Canada Bridge. There have been accidents, and this can be prevented. Please take us seriously in this matter. The city computer network has been disconnected and relocated to ensure it is not impacted by the risk of flooding at City Hall. As a result, there will be no access to the city website and/or city email addresses for an undetermined period of time. Members of the public are encouraged to use the city's Facebook and Twitter pages to keep updated. Berms and dams in critical areas will continue to be built and worked on so that those berms and dams will stay in place until it is no longer safe for staff to work there. Among minor flooding in other areas, the Medicine Hat Arena has now been flooded. Both the water treatment plant and power plant continue to be protected by berms. Our drinking water is safe. 4 lift stations are presently offline. Fire, police, health services, and emergency crews are prepared with teams on both the north and the south sides of the city to ensure the best services possible. The Urgent Care Center in Crescent Heights will be operational from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The Urgent Care Center at the Medicine Hat College will continue to be open for 24 hours a day. Alberta Health Services has set up a field hospital at the Family Leisure Center in Crescent Heights. Residents are reminded again to stay away from all waterways and river banks as they are deemed unsafe. The outdoor water use restriction remains in place. Do not use water outdoors. We would like to thank residents for their continued compliance in this issue. Those interested in volunteering can contact the Volunteer Center to find out about volunteer opportunities at 403-525-2661. And last, it is worthy of note that the Vossler Electric Substation servicing the Vossler subdivision in Redcliffe has had its power turned off for safety reasons. That concludes today's, or this afternoon's statement. Questions?
Can you give us a sense of how dire you're expecting the situation to become in the coming hours?
So our only comparator is a 1999 event in which we understand, looking at our historical perspective, this is going to impact a lot of our facilities and is now going to separate our community north from the south.
Are you concerned about the structure of the Trans-Canada Bridge?
So to that point, it is being monitored very closely to ensure that there is no safety hazards for those people who may or may not be entering or exiting the bridge. It is of concern to us. We don't yet know at what point in time it will be closed for various reasons, but we are monitoring the bridges, and we will be very clear about entering and exiting that bridge so that even our own staff, whose lives are also important to us and could be at stake given structural failures. So yes, bridges are going to be continually monitored.
How long, if Trans-Canada closes at 7, how long could all 3 bridges be closed for?
Until the flow diminishes and there is no longer safety concern.
How long are we expecting the flow to stay?
So the flow is continued. The message to us as of 11:15 this morning is that the flow will reach 5,500 cubic meters per second as of 0700 hours. continue on until approximately 1500 hours, and then start to abate at that point.
What is it right
And
now?
that's Monday morning.
Sorry, what is that stream flow right now?
We are currently at, I'm sorry I don't have that in front of me and I'm forgetting.
How many people are you expected to be downtown when?
Sorry?
How many people are you expecting to be downtown still, trapped in that area?
So in terms of the evacuation area, we're continuing. There are 10 people approximately that are being dealt with by police services.
The hospital's on the south side of the city. In terms of emergency ER care, how will the north side be serviced?
So that again, that's the care center that will be put up on the north side to provide as best a care. It won't have the same capacity as the hospital. And emergency care will be up and running.
What kind of capacity will it have?
That you'd have to have a medical expert to provide, but it will not be commensurate with what is currently being provided with the city medical hospital.
Can you talk about this hazmat spill on the Trans-Canada? Can we give people any idea how long that would take to clean up, or is it a hazmat spill?
Sorry, I'm not familiar with the hazmat spill on the Trans-Canada Highway.
Okay.
Now
How many people have been evacuated?
So at this point in time, all but 10 people, as you know, there are 37 to 3,800 homes that were canvassed, approximately 10,000 people, and all but 10 have now been evacuated.
And are you forcibly removing those 10 people?
Yeah, there has been some strong language used, and under the Emergency Management Act, people can be arrested where needed. But at this point in time, I would not use the word forcibly. But again, we'll continue to work while we have a small window of opportunity to ensure that all people are out before 5,500.
And what's underwater right now downtown?
So a lot of our roads along Harris, of course, have already breached the burns. River Road, the flats area, all the way up to and including the bottom of Sholton Hill. And you'll continue to see those areas rise in terms of the water levels.
So flooding has begun in homes in the flats then?
I suspect that, although I don't have the number, the answer to that question is yes.
And Riverside?
And Riverside, now I don't know to what degree in Riverside.
Now, you've asked people to stay away from Trans-Canada. What about generally anywhere, the areas along the river? What's your message to people coming out, taking pictures, wanting to look?
The message is you need to purchase a vantage point that is not going to interfere with essential services and emergency services. So you folk, as much as I'd like to say that it's a wonderful thing to get a picture of this incredible event, you need to support us. Stay home, go in the backyard, wait for pictures that you'll see on the media, but we need you to stay away from these areas.
How is city staff and emergency workers handling the situation right now?
Well, as you can well imagine, the staff are exhausted, but as they continue to work diligently for the protection of critical infrastructure and safety, carry on undaunted in terms of their goals.
In 1995, was the water system compromised, and was there a boil water advisory?
There was not.
Could you give us just a message to all the people to stay off the roads, keeping roads back up clear?
So again, the message is we need your help. We need you to stay away from all areas where we anticipate flooding. That's been made very clear on the maps. So stay away from all the bridges, downtown core, the flats areas, stay away from those areas and major arteries so that we can have essential services access.
Do you know what the situation is at the Sandy Point Bridge of Red Deer and the Bow Island Bridge of Burr?
Those are being monitored at this point. That's all I can tell you.
I'm wondering if you can tell me with the projections of the water level rising, if it's all going as it was expected to go.
Sorry, I missed
I'm wondering
that.
if you can tell me, I mean, because obviously you have projections about when the river's going to rise and how high it will be. Is it going as you thought it would go?
So the answer to that question, it is going as best we can envision on the basis of the information we receive from Alberta Environment with their sophisticated assessment. Right now, I was just informed it's 4,500 cubic meters per second, so we have another 1,000 cubic meters per second to anticipate, which will peak at 0700 hours. This information that Alberta Environment gives us allows us to understand what critical infrastructure and residents need to be protected.
Can
So,
you spell your name first in case you're here?
Ron Robinson, RON, ROBINSON, Director of Emergency Management for the City of Medicine Hat.
So you mentioned peaking at 0700 hours, so 7 tomorrow morning?
7 tomorrow morning, Monday morning, that's correct. Now let's just want to say one thing, folks. You have to understand that even though at some point in time, Monday, we are going to see the river abate, we will have a lot of work to do. And at this point in time, there's a lot of debris that is going down our river. We don't know what impact that's going to have in terms of critical infrastructure in our dams, etc. So our crews are going to be working over the next many days and weeks ahead. We need your support. Don't cause unnecessary burden on our resources. And thank you again for your continued support.
If we hit that 5,500 cubic meters, how long could we be looking at cleanup?
You know, when you think about 1995, it took us literally months. And that's why we've taken as many proactive and preventative measures as possible to minimize the impact of business continuity and get our community back on its feet as quickly as possible.
And if you look at the water plant and the power plant right now, the water is coming up quite a bit. You said that the berms are still protecting them, but any indication as to whether or not those are in jeopardy at this point?
At this point in time, we've looked at that very carefully. We do not believe it is in jeopardy.
Do you think it will become in jeopardy?
At this point in time, I'm not going to conjecture, but we believe that we're safe at this point.
Can you repeat your name and title, please?
Ron Robinson, R-O-N-R-O-B-I-N-S-O-N, Director of Emergency Management for the City of Medicine Hat. Mayor Boucher is here, and I suspect he would like to